Hi there. Thanks for joining us for Together. I'm Karen Leigh. We are dedicated to sharing with you inspiring and remarkable stories of the good that's going on all around you. For a while now, you might have noticed how we've been highlighting how people are coming together for Colorado, for each other, strangers or neighbors. This show is all about the positive. It's a show that you can watch with the entire family, even the little ones. So get ready to sit back and relax and enjoy the good that's happening right next door. Well, it's that time when the alarms go off again and those backpacks are packed as the new school year starts. Dylan Thomas will show us how one group wants to make sure the students capture memories throughout the year forever.
Yearbooks not only capture students, friends, and teachers, they also capture the good times they share all year long. But for some, yearbooks are simply beyond their budget. Smokey Cares makes sure every student never forgets through donations. Yearbook nerds, or Yerds, say their program will make sure those who couldn't afford a book will not only remember now, but
when they're 30 years old, they'll be able to look back at it. It's showing them that they matter here too.
We'll show you how later on Together.
Well, becoming a new mom can be overwhelming, but strangers in Colorado are visiting with new mothers and babies to make sure that they get everything they need. As Brett Marino will show us, they're crafting some much-needed comforts of home.
I love the pattern on it, too.
This free layette includes handmade blankets, clothing, and all the essentials.
It's awesome. The fact that there are people who donate the fabric and donate their time to put it together, I think is really quite commendable.
Also on Together, how one man has overcome some really tough times in his own life and is now giving back by grabbing a pole and going fishing.
Nice. Was that one of the first fish you ever caught? Yeah.
Fishing has given Terrell a new sense of purpose.
It is a blessing that I've been given a second chance.
And it's just the beginning for these kids.
The city is just a small dot on the map. The world is huge. They got so much exploring to do, and they can start right here.
How one man's time in prison and the loss of his son led him to this fishing hole with these kids. Later on Together.
Well, many of our Together for Colorado stories showcase people helping others succeed in their personal lives or business. In Weld County, dozens of women not only came together to learn about how to get ahead in Colorado's growing solar power industry, they're also helping to provide electricity to people that need it the most. Jeff Todd and photojournalist Robert Sanchez introduce us to these women in power.
This is our first time actually getting in there and building it from the ground up, which is really exciting.
Addie Arnold is studying solar energy as part of her MBA program at Colorado State. Now, she and her classmates are getting off campus and into the field.
We're installing everything ourselves, and it's been really interesting.
The nonprofit Grid Alternative brought 65 women together to this farm in Weld County.
You just have to make sure they're aligned and screw them in, so it's pretty fast.
The We Build initiative is working to bring more women into the solar industry.
I think it's very rewarding for our supporters to come out and put their hands on the project.
Anna Bautista is a rarity in the industry. She is the Vice President of Construction for Grid Alternative.
This is a great medium for them to find a mentor and also find peer mentors and just develop a network within the industry.
In the solar industry, only about 30% of the workforce is made up of women. And in construction specifically, that number is far lower. So today is about changing those demographics.
Seeing is believing, and being able to see all these smart, amazing, powerful women in the industry, I think is very inspiring.
The power made here is helping even more people. Boulder Housing Partners, which helps low-income residents, will use this power to help lower electricity bills.
The benefactor of this project is a deserving community, and then in the process, this is a community building as well for an underrepresented demographic in the industry.
Seeing this from the ground is already making an impact for Addie.
It's been really empowering today to be able to talk with them and get encouragement from them, and I'm definitely going to be applying for some solar jobs.
That is just awesome. Well, many of us take having enough to eat for granted. It's something we don't worry about much, but that is not the case for everyone. Members of a church in Littleton found out that many of the children in their community only got meals at school. So what happens on the weekends? Do these kids go hungry? Well, that thought alone became the motivation for School Partners, a program to pack meals for the poorest families at Alice Terry Elementary School.
We've heard a story of a kid who was so hungry that they were looking at their teacher and the teacher turned into a banana because that's all they could think about. No child should have to think about going to school and feeling like their stomach is taking over their learning process.
And these bags go a long way. 2 bags from the church feeds 6 people. The food is delivered every Thursday night. Well, school has started for many kiddos. Others will go back in the next few days. At one high school, some students came up with a way to make sure that all of their classmates got to enjoy a yearbook. The books were simply too costly for many families. As Dylan Thomas soon learned, students at Smoky Hill High in Aurora kicked off a program to make sure that everyone walked away with those memories forever.
Activity fees, class schedules, and the often dreaded picture day. It's all a sign that school is almost back. But at Smoky Hill High, one of the first things families can do at check-in is give back in the form of memories. Yearbooks, 300 pages of everyone's awkward teenage phase.
It's the only true history of a school. If it's not covered in the yearbook, it didn't happen because people don't remember after years and years and years.
At a pricey $70 each, only about 50% of Smoky Hill students end up buying one, which is why advisor Carrie Faust and her award-winning staff introduced the Smoky Cares program, which gives families an opportunity to buy a discounted yearbook for an underprivileged student.
So kids who not only would love to have a yearbook, but kids who have given back to the Smoky Hill community, who have worked hard to be where they are and to be graduating.
The fact that we do have the Smoky Cares program is really important and a nice thing to do.
The yearbook nerds, or Yurds, as they like to call themselves, say Smoky Cares will not only pay off now, but
when they're 30 years old, they'll be able to look back at it. It's showing them that they matter here too.
The book's designers say this program anonymously brings the school's community together, not just this year, but for decades to come.
It's nice to know that they'll be able to have that memory of themselves in it.
And who doesn't love a yearbook? Dylan Thomas joins us now to talk a little bit more about this. And we know the school is so excited about this, to be able to do this, but the community has really rallied around this too.
And ever since our story aired, a lot of people have been reaching out to the yearbook advisor and the school saying that they want to actually buy yearbooks for students even though they don't have kids in the school themselves. So they're encouraging anyone who wants to buy to go ahead and reach out to the school main office and they'll get a book to a kid in need.
That is such a great idea, something that you don't really think about until you hear about it, which is awesome. Also, there's probably a lot of other schools out there that might be interested or maybe taking this up as well.
So the yearbook advisor, Carrie Faust, wants to make sure this becomes an event that goes on throughout the school district, hoping to get it throughout Cherry Creek schools, and hopefully it also goes into other districts as well.
Okay, we all love a yearbook. We mentioned that a second ago. I think the big part is looking back over the years and remembering all of those awesome moments that you had that you probably forgot about. And you can laugh about the pictures too.
This is my yearbook from senior year, and if you look at it, I actually have a photo with Jim Benjamin.
Look at there!
Yeah, we were talking about how we wanted to be co-workers one day. At least I wanted to be a co-worker one day. It's these type of memories that people may not be able to remember if it weren't for the fact that they had a yearbook, and this program will actually give others the opportunity to have a yearbook and remember those treasured memories.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Dylan, for sharing that for us. We appreciate it. Well, coming up, hoping to get kids hooked on the right path, how something as simple and peaceful as fishing is changing lives.
We can get them in a different environment and show a different outcome and different things. Maybe we can get different outcomes.
Well, you could say when we come together in Colorado, you can move mountains, or in this case, massive airplane. This plane pull benefits Special Olympics Colorado to fund training, competitions, and leadership programs for athletes. 25 teams got involved in this. The team to pull at 12 feet won. That was the crew from the Mesa County Sheriff's Office who took home first place. But the big winner, the Special Olympics. This event raised $166,000. That is a lot of money. It's going to make a big
12
difference.
feet?
I know.
Oh,
That's something,
that's
isn't
a long
it?
way, right?
That is something. Well, maybe we can get it on that next time.
There you go.
All right, Dave Aguilar with us now. We want to talk a little bit about some of the amazing photos that you're sending into our show, and we really appreciate it. We know people love getting outdoors.
We do, and we're going to take you all over Colorado
Great.
on this one this time around. First, we're going to start you off with the Contreras family. Marco sent this in. They were hiking in White Ranch, and he says all 3 generations there. His daughter, him, and his wife, and the grandma and grandpa there, just enjoying the White Ranch.
That.
Beautiful up there. Look how blue sky we got in that picture. Micheline Hensley Keogh in the Great Sand Dunes National Park here. Look at how beautiful that is. They had a little cloudy sky down there, probably a cool day, which is good when you're down there. Because if you're in the heat and the sand dunes, oh man.
Right.
But anytime's a good time to go down there to the San Luis Valley. And this was kind of a panoramic view of the newly renovated Dillon Amphitheater. David Roth sent that in. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, a great music venue and a place for events.
It's beautiful,
up there.
yeah.
Yeah, they've really done a good job with that. And my last one here, Sue Romano Calhoun, rafting the Colorado River with the family. Each one of those people in that shot, the Calhoun family. Romano Calhoun family going down the rapids.
And everybody's staying in the boat. That's awesome.
I think they've survived that trip.
That's awesome. Dave, thank you so much for sharing those. And be sure to share your photos with us. We want to see you out enjoying Colorado with your family. So send us an email at togetherforcolorado@cbs.com. You can also post it on social media using the hashtag #ForColorado. And we will be sure to share it right here on this show. From painting to landscaping, even making baby clothes, there are so many ways for you to help out people where you live. Coming up on Together, we're going to show you how you can get involved. This week on our Together for Colorado calendar, everyone knows how great Palisade peaches are. We'll now celebrate with growers in Palisade for 4 days of food, entertainment, and orchard tours on the western slope in Palisade. It's August 16th through the 19th. Also next weekend, walk downtown Golden for the Golden Fine Arts Festival. It's August 18th and 19th. And Denver, the sounds of summer come to the Cherry Creek Shopping Center August 18th. Listen to live bluegrass music from 11 until 3. You can find more information on these events by going to the Together for Colorado page of cbsdenver.com. Well, we all have a skill or a talent that we can put to good use. Well, meet this crafting club who is coming together for Colorado's youngest. They took on a challenge to make handmade essentials for newborn babies and their moms. Brett Moreno and photojournalist Robert Sanchez show us how they're crafting to provide all the comforts of home.
Kaylin is just 3 weeks old, but she's getting everything a girl could want.
I love the pattern on it too.
This free layette includes handmade blankets, clothing, and all the essentials.
It's awesome. The fact that there are people who donate the fabric and donate their time to put it together, I think is really, it's quite commendable.
This extraordinary gift came from Jefferson County Public Health through their in-home nurse visitation programs.
We're doing a lot of public health education in regards to how to have healthy pregnancies.
Jeffco nurses have given out hundreds of these layettes over the years.
Sometimes the moms don't have all the things that they need for baby when they go home.
The bags are put together by a nonprofit called Warm Hearts, Warm Babies. They donate these bags to hospitals, crisis pregnancy centers, and shelters. They rely on volunteers to do it.
We do a charitable project each year, and this year we were doing Warm Hearts, Warm Babies.
Nyla Octor started the Yarn and Needle Arts Group at Stanley Lake Library. Every month, the group gathers to share projects and helpful hints. This year, they're taking on the challenge of baby clothes and blankets.
We want to give back to the community.
These crafters have never met Kaylin, but they're making sure her tiny feet get a good first step in the world.
Handmade stuff is always the stuff that you keep and you set aside in a keepsake box.
Ah, look at that baby. Well, it doesn't matter what skill you possess. We can all pitch in and help others. One way to do that is to take part in Xcel Energy's Day of Service. There are projects all over the state that need our attention. You can volunteer for one of 77 different projects. Some need as many as 200 people, others only 20. Just pick something that interests you and sign up.
You get to pick the project. It's already organized and put together. We bring supplies. We do everything for you. So you just show up that morning.
Sounds easy. Xcel Energy's day of service is not until Saturday, September 8th, but the time to sign up is now. We have got links to the projects, made it easy for you, on our website at cbsdenver.com. Well, coming up on Together, making new friends and building trust, one child and one meal at a time. As you've noticed, our Together for Colorado stories are a positive, empowering way of reporting the most important stories across our state in a way that keeps the focus on you and your family and your pets. Good Samaritans and Arvada animal officers Whetstone and Choplin helped rescue Jake. He was stuck in a canal at 76th and Sim Street. Well, people on bicycles and walking the canal all helping to free Jake, who got trapped there. They used blankets and a rope to lift him up. Well, moments later, the woman looking for her dog found this rescue team, and she was beyond grateful to have her pup back. And there was a huge turnout recently for National Night Out, and Aurora police want to say thanks. The neighborhoods from all over the city that came together to celebrate the 35th year. So many people turned out. People chatted with their local police officers, got to eat some really awesome food too. Aurora Police gave a special shout out to district representatives who put all of this together. Show us how people are coming together where you live. We want to know about it, so post it to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram using the hashtag #4Colorado, and I will be sure to share it right here on our show. Well, sometimes caring for our community comes out of a tragic loss or even a personal struggle. For one man, it's both. He's a former gang member who served some time and also lost a son to violence. Well, now as Mackenzie O'Keefe and photographer Bill Mashore show us, he's dedicated to serving others by going fishing with kids.
Bring it back to 10. Let go. Look at you.
When it comes to casting a line,
way to go.
It's a learning experience for these kids on a fishing trip that has a greater meaning.
So if we can get them in a different environment and show a different outcome and different things, maybe we can get different outcomes.
I just threw it out and then the fish caught it.
I never fished before.
It's kids like this that Terrell LeVar Burton Sr. and his wife Keisha want to help. By creating opportunities for inner city kids, they hope to break the mold of where they're growing up.
It's a lot of gang violence.
Terrell himself is a former gang member who served 13 years in prison. A week before he was released, he learned his 18-year-old son was killed.
I lost my son to the streets.
A pain that ultimately led him on a new path and journey.
Them kids remind me of my own kids. It reminds me of the times, of the mistakes that I made in my life, which kept me away from my children. Now, as a father, I feel like it's my due diligence to give back to the young men and women on the streets of Denver.
There are more than 30 inner city kids here. Many have never fished before. And today is not necessarily about hooking a fish, but getting these kids hooked on new activities and really to see the new opportunities this world has to offer.
Just to show them that there's alternatives than, just the streets alone.
Nice. Was that one of the first fish you ever caught? Yeah.
And while this has given Terrell a new sense of meaning,
I can tell you it's a blessing that I've been given a second chance.
It's really just the beginning for these young kids.
The city is just a small dot on the map. The world is huge. They got so much exploring to do, and they can start right here.
Love to hear those giggles. Well, I'd love to hear from you as well, so send me your feedback, your story ideas, and pictures of you out and about with your family. You can email me directly or post them to social media using the hashtag #4Colorado. Well, I sure hope you have enjoyed our show, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week as we have more powerful stories of how people are coming together for Colorado. Until then, we leave you with a look at the creek with no name just outside of Glenwood Springs, shot by John Mason.